Let's bring to stage your very own CSL singers. Where are they? They're out there somewhere, hiding amongst you, and we'll get Carrie will come up. And we do our opening song, I Release. We're doing I Release because it's the end of the year. And at the end of the year, you need to release, let go of the old, make room for the new. Here we go. Please stand and sing along. Join in the joy of music making. You gotta let it go.
Let it all
That's
go.
right, Lane. You gotta let it all go. And this is what you have to say. 1, 2. I release
and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God.
Do it again, do it again, do it again. I release and I let go.
And let
The Spirit run my life.
and my heart is open wide.
Yes, I'm only for God. Whoa.
No
More
more
struggle, no more strife.
with my face
I see the light.
I am free in the Spirit.
Yes, I'm only. All right, break it down for me.
I gotta release and I let go. Yes, I gotta let the Spirit run my life.
Play it for him,
I'm
Chris.
gonna release.
Release and
I let go. Yeah, I'm gonna let the Spirit run my life. Come on, and just release and let it go. And you gotta let the Spirit run my life. I'm gonna release and let it go. Gonna let the Spirit run my life. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Don't you know you're Oh, I know. I know. That'll get you going. And now she's already up there. So I wouldn't say welcome to the stage because she's on the stage. Just waiting
She
for the-
snuck right up when no one was
She
looking.
did. She get up there.
Thanks for having me here, Andy.
Carrie Hillary, glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. And I have my buddy Dwayne Roque and Chris
Dwayne
Pinnick
and Chris.
with me tonight.
Yeah,
Today,
guys.
tonight. Life's not about just getting by, giving up hope, trying to survive. It's about faith in things unseen, creating our own field of dreams. While we're here, we might as well dance, laugh and sing, whirl and prance, lose the fear, take a chance, 'cause while we're here, we might as well dance. Rewrite the rules, relearn the games, nothing to lose, everything gained. Let's live in joy and move through the pain, 'cause we're here to thrive. That's why we came. While we're here, we might as well dance, laugh and sing, whirl and prance, lose the fear, take a chance, while we're here, we might as well dance. We're moving on, we're reaching out, living our dream. It's what it's about. Learning to trust and setting us free, embracing all our lives can be. While we're here, we might as well dance, laugh and sing, whirl and prance, lose the fear, and take a chance. 'Cause while we're here, we might as well dance. Dance, laugh and sing, twirl and trance, lose the fear, and take a chance, 'cause while we're here, we might as well dance. While we're here, we might as well dance, laugh and sing, trance, lose the fear, take a chance. 'Cause while we're here, what? We might as well dance. 'Cause while we're here, we might as well dance. One more time. While we're here, we might as well dance.
Thank you, Carrie. Give him a hand. And Chris and Dwayne. Thanks, guys. Very nice.
All I can say is, wow. Gosh, feel the energy in here today. The music is just absolutely amazing. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, all our guests. Thank you, Andy. Thank the CSL singers.
Yeah.
And all of you were so involved. Gosh, what a day. All right, let's take a nice deep breath and let out a big heartful sigh. And just feel ourselves sink into that place of peace, place of light and love, expanded consciousness, one with the infinite presence that pervades all life, one with the peace, one with the joy, one with the freedom, one with the ecstasy and the bliss, knowing that these qualities that we identify as spirit are within us. And we celebrate these qualities and their presence and their experience right here and right now. And that's what we come together to do each and every week. So as we move toward the new year now, we embrace and harvest all that has gone on in the past. We give thanks for the wonderful gifts that we have received in this last year. Not only those things that we identify as joyous, but even those things that we identify as challenging, knowing that they too bring gifts that we can harvest. And we give thanks for all of the enrichment and the wisdom and the teaching that Dr. Jim Lockard has brought to this community over the past several years. And so we're in gratitude for his service. And as we move forward into a new year and a new experience, we open ourselves to the new. Our readiness for change, our readiness for transformation. And we, in this moment, release and let go of anything that holds us back from the most powerful and positive and enriching experiences we can experience in 2015. And we just let them evaporate, dissolve, and create an openness, create a void within ourselves for the newness to be invoked and filled up. And so in this moment, focus on one quality that you want to embrace in this coming new year and feel it coming into you, filling you up. And becoming who you are in this moment. And we do this individually, and we do this collectively as a community. And we know that this truth is already done. We give thanks with joy and celebration. Turn it over to Spirit, and together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Patrick. Hello, my name is John Newbill, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. And welcome to all those watching on our live stream feed from around the world. We are a welcoming, inclusive spiritual community dedicated to teaching the science of mind. We provide spiritual tools to improve your life and to help create a world that works for everyone. The practitioner of the day is Reverend Patrick Harbula. Gave us that wonderful opening treatment. He will be available in the practitioner room after the service, and the practitioners will be here on the platform immediately after the service to provide 1-minute miracles. Join them here to receive a healing prayer treatment on the spot. If you are watching online, you may also request treatment on our website. There will be no Wednesday night alive on New Year's Eve. There will also be no group activities this week. However, Dr. Jim's class will meet as scheduled on Tuesday, December 30th at 7 p.m., and you are still invited to attend. On Sunday evening, January 4th at 7 p.m., you are invited to attend the ordination of our own Reverend Patrick Harbula. A dessert, congratulations. And a dessert buffet will follow the event. Tickets are now available for Dr. Jim's retirement celebration. It will be held on Saturday, January 10th at the Junkyard. Tickets are $25 and seats are limited, so get your tickets early. Tickets and information flyers are available at the friendship table. There are applications now available on the friendship table if you are interested in participating in the recommendation committee for our new minister. There is detailed information describing eligibility and required time commitment. On Sunday, January 25th, we will be offering a new member discovery class. This class is open to anyone who would like to learn more about our center and is required if you are interested in becoming a voting member. The class will begin after the service and a light lunch will be provided. December 31st is the last day to get the early bird pricing for annual Centers for Spiritual Living conference. The conference features many exceptional speakers, musicians, and events, and will be held this year at in Las Vegas from February 16th through 19th. Get more information from csl.org. Are you a first-time visitor? Please sign our guest book and introduce yourself. Welcome packets are available in the lobby. Our greeters will be honored to get you one. Know that you are welcomed, honored, and loved. Okay.
Good morning. Let's have a little quiet time. I just invite you to close your eyes if you wish and go within. releasing the cares and concerns of the day and the planning for tomorrow, and we just allow ourselves to drift inward into that center space, that heart space, where there is peace and calm and serenity. And from this place of feeling relaxed and peaceful, let's go on a mental journey. Let's go forward about 368 days to December 31st, 2015 in your mind. The end of next year, the last day of 2015. And imagine yourself in that place in time, thinking about the year that has just ended. What is your highest vision for that year that you want to be thinking about on December 31st, 2015? What have you brought into your life experience? What has been healed? What has been expanded or enlarged on? What is different than right now? And just take a few moments to imagine that. What is different about you? What qualities of yourself have you brought forth during this 2015? How have you impacted the lives of others? How have you shown up in this coming year? Now bring yourself back into this moment, December 28th, 2014, and turn that into an intention. Whatever it is you envisioned from the future, now envision it into the future. Set an intention on what you are going to be, your being nature, and then what arises from that. And finally, in order to bring that intention into being, or those intentions, what needs to change? What needs to be different? What do you need to do to be in a new and different way? And see that unfolding from intention to actualization as the new year unfolds. And it all begins right here and right now. So I invite you to affirm this with me for yourselves as we say together, and so it is. Andy, take it away. Thank you, Andy. Andy Howe. So here we are, right up against the end of another year. 2014 is about to fade into the past. I wasn't sure I'd make it this far, were you? And 2015 is about to dawn. And that's just, you know, the dates are really, there's no reality to them other than the symbolic value. We agree on these dates. We say that this is the end of a year and the beginning of another year, but when you wake up on January 1st, everything will be kind of the way it is in the whole universe. You know, the rest of the universe doesn't pay attention to our calendar. And yet it is a good time to consciously decide how we're going to be in the new year, to make some plans. The old style is to do resolutions, which is kind of a way of forcing yourself to do something you think you ought to do, but you don't really want to do it, because if you really wanted to do it, you'd have already done it. Lose weight, you know, lose that spouse that's been driving you crazy. You know, going to finally apply myself this year, you know. And usually by the third week in January, not only have you not done the resolution, you've forgotten what they were. Because we understand now, from our understanding of psychology, that that kind of process doesn't generally work. You can force yourself into making lifestyle changes, and people have done that. They do it, but it's very difficult to do. It takes a long time. Usually they say to make a major lifestyle change, it takes a focused, concentrated effort of about 18 to 24 months before you've actually changed your consciousness by using coercion. And usually when you do that, probably most of us have done that for something, to quit smoking or quit drinking, or, you know, it's usually about quitting something. We usually don't do it again. We usually talk about it for the rest of our lives. Let me tell you about the time I quit smoking it, you know. So resolutions don't really work. They're not the best way to make changes. The best way to make changes are intentions. To set intentions and to consciously pay attention to those intentions, like by writing them down, is a good thing to do. Because otherwise you forget. You notice your mind, your subconscious mind, the creative part of you, is very powerful. And it's subconscious. And we've talked about this before. Are we playing with did I do that? Did you do that? Somebody did that. Okay. Don't do that. So it's happened before, right? Where when you think about, what do you forget? Anybody ever forget to go on vacation? Oh, gee, I came into work. I'm supposed to be in Hawaii. I completely forgot. No, you've never forgotten that in your entire life, right? You forget dental appointments. You forget to visit your mother-in-law. You know, you tend to forget things that you probably were kind of trying to force yourself into anyway. So when I use coercion on myself to make changes, even if it's gentle coercion, I'll tend to forget about it. I'll become distracted. I'll lose my sense of what I'm trying to do. So if I'm going to be doing this with more than one thing at a time, it's good to write some things down. But I don't write them down in a way that says, you know, make myself stop smoking, or make myself be nicer around the house, or lose my temper less frequently, or whatever it is. You know, what I want to do is think about, well, what would the languaging be that would help me to move into that easily and naturally? So it would be an affirmation of some kind. And you write your goals as affirmations. And it's good to have them around in places where you'll see them. See, you don't just put them in a drawer and then check in 6 months to see if you've done it. You want to have something that's in front of you. Maybe on your cell phone, or, you know, stick it on your refrigerator, on your mirror in the morning. So we want to do those kinds of things that support us. But so that's what we're moving toward. But there's also a process at this time of the year that we often talk about and think about, and appropriately so, is what do I need to let go of to go into the new year prepared to move into a new level of being, a new way of expressing? What has to go? And there's always something. There's always something taking up shelf space in your life that doesn't serve you. You know. And sometimes it's physical stuff, and sometimes it's mental stuff or emotional stuff. Sometimes it's the same thing, but it's all three. You know, Dorianne and I are in the process of dissembling a lot of stuff. We're selling pretty much everything we own. So if you need anything, let us know. You know, the house, the cars, most of the furniture, lots of other stuff is being released. The cats. They're going to good homes. Okay. It's not like we're just turning them loose. No, we're being conscious about that. But it's, you know, with where we're going, the cats would have a difficult time. They don't speak French. So there's this releasing, and it's interesting when you think about how much stuff you've accumulated. You know, there's lots of stuff. Lots of boxes to be filled. Lots of, even the stuff we're going to put in storage is going to be a lot of stuff, even after we've gotten rid of the other stuff. But beyond the physical stuff, there's other things that have to be released. Might be qualities of self that are limiting or something like that. That hold us back, you know. What we carry as, you know, you've heard the term baggage, you know. What baggage we carry, mostly that's emotional baggage, stuff of feeling less than or feeling left behind or feeling betrayed or wounded in some way that we haven't dealt with, we haven't released. And by releasing, it simply means to take the weight off of. Doesn't mean we forget it necessarily, but we learn how to lift the emotional weight. If we don't do that, we get held back. We get held in place. It becomes very difficult, if not impossible, to move on in any kind of a sense. David Foster Wallace said, "Everything I've ever let go of had claw marks on it." Because sometimes it's hard to let go. It's even hard to let go of stuff you don't want. You know, stuff that God, I wish I could get rid of this thing. I wish I could get rid of this idea about myself that I have that's limiting. I wish I could get rid of this toxic relationship I'm in. I wish I could get rid of whatever it might be. Yeah. But why don't we? Well, we have emotional attachments that may or may not make any sense, that may or may not serve us in any way. Anyone here ever stayed in a relationship too long? Okay. If your hand is raised, see if your spouse's is too. Stayed in a job too long? You know. Stayed in a location too long? Stayed in a crappy attitude too long? Yeah. Sure. And you say, why? It doesn't make sense. Well, at some level, see, here's one of the interesting things about why we hold on to what doesn't work. At some level, we're getting value. At some level, there's a pay value for the self-destructive things we do. And the pay value may be as simple as proving to ourselves that we really don't deserve good things in our lives. Because if we really believed we deserve good things in our lives, we'd let go of the stuff that doesn't serve us fairly easily. And then we have the surface reasons, which are different than the deeper reasons. The surface reasons why we don't release often is because we don't want to upset someone. or we don't want to, make the family unhappy, or whatever the case may be. So we stay in a situation that may not work. But the deeper reason is that something within us a need within us is being met. And quite often it's a need to prove to ourselves that we're limited, that we're diminished in some way. Grievances, anybody ever had a grievance? Okay. I don't see any hands, so we'll just skip this slide. I remember my dad was a guy who never let a grievance slip by, never let it go. If somebody slighted him in any way, he would obsess about it for weeks, and I know internalize it for years. And sometimes the grievances don't even have to be recent. Some of us carry them from childhood. It's like an open wound almost. And boy, are we justified, right? That SOB, what they did to me, I'll never forget it. What does that do for us? We surround ourselves with a sense of righteous indignation, and we suffer because of it. The other person is probably unaffected by our concern or by our sadness or our suffering or our woundedness. They might not even be alive anymore, or they've moved on with their lives. They don't even know they wounded us in some cases. We hang on. And my dad was like that. He and his brother didn't talk for about the last 20-some years of their lives over an argument over some furniture and the distribution thereof when their mother died. And my father said, "That's it. I'm done with him." And when he said that about you, that was it. He would say, "I'm too proud to change my mind once I've said that." And when my dad was on his deathbed, his brother reached out to him, called me, and said, "Will your dad see me?" And I asked him, because my dad had been like really nice in hospice. He's just kind of, I don't know if it's the drugs or what, but he was not so miserable. He was being nice to his wife, and she was like, "What's this about?" So he seemed really nice. Seemed like he was having one of those awakenings kind of you have, some people have near the end. And I said to him, "Your brother called, wants to see it." "Nope. Absolutely not." See? Couldn't let go. Couldn't let go. Every one of my dad's grievances, they didn't have claw marks on them because he never tried to let them go. He carried them with him. How heavy that must have been. See, that's the thing about baggage. It weighs you down. So what we can do at the end of the year is think about that. What is holding me back? What is weighing me down? What is keeping me from expressing maybe the love and caring for other people that I would like to? What's keeping me from expressing just simple kindnesses maybe during the day? How many times do we see people during the course of our everyday activities, driving or in the stores or in the bank, who are just, you can tell they're just a bundle of grievances, and if you intersect with them in the wrong way, you get this rage. It's just right there. If you suggest maybe you want to let that go, don't do that. Don't say that. Because then you'll get more of it. See? It's a Banksy drawing. It says, "Sometimes you don't realize the weight of something you've been carrying until you feel the weight of its release." Because a lot of the things we carry around, we're not even aware that we're doing it. We've never questioned it. We've never brought it to conscious examination. It just is. You know. I'm sure that my dad carried those grievances because that's what he was taught to do. He never saw anybody around him when he was growing up release grievances. He didn't do that. You just added them up, and you got back as you could. You got even as you could. And if you couldn't get even with the person that aggrieved you, you got even with somebody else. That exchange of energy, that unconscious exchange of anger, that unconscious exchange of sadness that many of us express without even being aware of it. You know, because when you say to somebody, like if you'd have said to my dad, "Dad, why are you carrying all this anger?" He would have told you. He'd have had no problem telling you why, and he would have thought you were insane to suggest that maybe he should just let it go. So he suffered, and the people around him suffered as a result. See, we don't suffer alone. We inflict ourselves on others. You know. Did I turn this on? There we go. When we do release, when we do let go, we're free. We're free of what? We're free of whatever that weight was. And sometimes what we're letting go of is something we think is kind of nice. We're letting go of a beautiful home. I'm letting go of a good gig here. Because it's time. Not that there's anything wrong with this for me. It's just part of a larger thing. And I could say, well, gee, there's one thing here I can't let go of. And hang on. But I've seen that happen too many times. I've done it before, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because what happens when you don't follow your heart, when your heart says, time to go, and you don't listen, is you find a way to screw it up. You know, Dr. Dennis, who was here before me, we've had many conversations. I know he said it here. He said, I stayed 2 years too long. I was ready to go before that, and I stayed because the circumstances were whatever they were. And those were not the best 2 years for him or for this community. I've stayed too long in places, in relationships. And looking back, I can understand kind of why I did it from a standpoint of, oh yeah, I can see all the things that were in place. But in terms of what was really going on, and nobody was particularly well served by it. That's a hard lesson to learn, I think, for all of us is, when is it time to do what's next? Or to do what I'm doing completely differently? It doesn't mean we have to keep getting up, moving around. That's my thing, apparently. A nomadic soul. Probably because of some severe toilet training as a child. I don't know. But we all need change in our lives. We all need growth. We all need different ways of expressing. And the vehicle for that can be as unique as we are. So I'm not saying that, everybody needs to get up and move every so often. That's not necessarily it. But what we do need to do, I think, is to be consciously aware of how we're managing, directing, and setting intention for the changes in our lives based on what is within us to express. And how can we put ourselves into a place that allows a greater level of that expression? And for the most part, the first step in change is letting go of something that's static. at least. It may not be destructive, but it's static. There's static and dynamic, right? Static tends to sit still, dynamic tends to move. And when something becomes static, it's like dead weight. Sometimes relationships become that. They become pro forma relationships, meaning that there isn't any energy in it anymore. We're just going through the motions because it's been allowed to deteriorate. Sometimes our homes have become deteriorated because we haven't paid attention and taken care of them. We haven't put our energy into remodeling occasionally, redecorating, rebuilding sometimes. Sonia Choquette says, release what no longer attracts you. Step away from things, situations, and people that bring you no vitality or joy because you can't reach out for something greater if you don't first drop what's in your hand. But we're afraid to do that, aren't we? Don't we want to have something better lined up before we make a big move? You know what I mean? Isn't that the smart thing to do? You know, wait till you're having an affair with somebody hot before you leave your spouse, you know? To make sure there'll be some interest in you, you know, just in case. Or don't leave the job until you get the next one lined up. That makes sense. Right? But you know, sometimes the universe lets you know that it isn't working that way. And that first you've got to create the space. And that's where there's a leap required. It's not just a step, it's a leap. And leaps are scary because you can't see where you'll land. And there may be kind of, you know, it's like looking through the fog and there's a little gap here and there's something over there. There looks like there's a surface, but you're not sure if you're going to land or you're going to slide right off. Sometimes you have to find yourself completely in the unknown. Like Dorothy when she stepped out of that house in Oz, having just killed one of the major citizens of the area unknowingly, and walking into some place where she was not recognized, not known, and she knew no one. We spend a lot of energy trying to avoid that happening in our lives, don't we? But sometimes that's the only way home. Otherwise, you stay in the storm. Life. Life. I love this quote from Marianne Williamson. The universe is a cosmic soup made up of infinite packets of possible scenarios. Which possibility becomes manifest is determined by the frequency of our thinking. Loving thought causes miraculous possibility. Non-loving thought leads to fearful ones. In any given moment, any holy instant, we can internally take a stand for love. Release the past. Bless all beings. Know you're not a victim. Judge no one. Devote yourself to love. Release the past. For some of us, that feels like all we've got because we haven't allowed ourselves to live in the present. That was the way my dad was. He was continually revisiting old hurts and old grudges. One of my best friends in college, he was the best man at my first wedding. Dorian and I went and had lunch with he and his wife when we were in Florida earlier this year. He's still talking about a necklace that somebody took from his dorm room in 1969 with a lot of energy. It was about a $40 necklace. He hasn't forgotten a single slight that anyone has ever done to him. It keeps him very busy. keeps me from seeing him more than once a decade. Because it's a weight to be within his presence. Tell me what's good in your life. Well, the kids are good. Everybody's good. Let me tell you about this SOB I work for you, though. You know, everything goes that way pretty quickly. Because there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Now we can look at folks that has happened to by their own creative mechanism, and we can say, gee, isn't that awful? But then when we look at ourselves, what are we doing? What am I doing? I have to look at myself and say, what am I doing that's holding me back? That's holding my relationship with Dorianne and my family, my kids back? What am I doing that's holding my creative expression back? That I'm not even paying it, I might even be paying attention to it. I've taken it for granted for so long. It's just who I am. Or is it? Is it more like who I've chosen to be? So this rigorous self-examination, I think, is a necessary step in moving forward. Letting go of what doesn't serve me, even if I become emotionally attached to it, is important. There's an archetype called the destroyer. It tends to show up in your consciousness about the same time as the lover does. Now, all archetypes have a light side and a dark side. The dark side of the destroyer is that it destroys shit. Now I finally got Andy paying attention. The destroyer will just slice things and dice things and mess everything up and make a big mess. The dark side. The light side of the destroyer, the positive side, severs the ties that bind you using its sword. It cuts away at whatever no longer serves. We have to cultivate that quality in ourselves of that archetype. Or else we become weighed down with the detritus of life, the stuff that doesn't work anymore, the stuff that's past, the stuff that's destructive, the stuff that's limiting, the stuff that is putting claw marks on us. And sometimes, in order to move through that healthy destroyer phase, you have to make a scene. You have to tell some people some things they don't want to hear. Or you have to show some behaviors that may not be acceptable to some of the people in your life. Well, you're supposed to be the quiet one standing in the corner that never makes any noise. Get back where you belong, they're going to say. And you're going to say, screw you, I found my destroyer. I'm coming out of the closet as a real person, as a force to be reckoned with. Say this, I am a force of nature. I live a life that is a joy to behold. I get out of my own way. Easily, naturally, and continually. And so it is. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't come here to be quiet. You didn't come here to be ignored. You didn't come here to stand in a corner and let other people take over, to tell you who you are. You came here to be a disruptive force in this universe. A disruptive force for love. For love. To stir it up. Because everything that becomes complacent moves into negativity. Everything that becomes quietly and unconsciously accepted moves toward entropy. It dissipates. what moves us toward greatness is love. Insisting upon it, accepting nothing less from ourselves and from others. Let people be free to live any life they want, but absolutely be the gatekeeper to your own consciousness. They can do what they want with their lives. They don't get into mine unless they're positive influences. So what do I have to let go of? For the most part, I have to let go of holding back, being scared, not wanting to make a scene, not wanting to say shit on a Sunday talk. Stuff like that. Playing small. Your phone's ringing. I don't know if you noticed. Might want to get that. Speaking up. Making light of something rather than, what it's supposed to be. Maybe at this time of year we do a couple things. We look at everything in our lives and see if it's broken or whole. And we look at it through a very heavy lens that reveals everything. And we make a clear decision and intention to fix what needs to be fixed in the sense of just putting it right. We're not broken. Nothing's broken. But things need to be redirected, some things. And the things that can't be redirected in a positive way need to be released. If it doesn't serve you, it isn't yours anyway. Maybe it used to be. Maybe it used to serve you beautifully. But if it no longer does, it's time to let it go. And then the final part is to set intentions for going forward that bring me up like a phoenix out of the residue of what's been released. What am I going to fill all that empty shelf space with, and how wonderful it's going to be? That's what it's about. So when I say have a happy new year, I would rather have a conscious new year. Have an awake new year. Stir up some trouble in the coming year. Make yourself feel a little uncomfortable with how wonderful you're becoming. Throw off the need to be overly comfortable or overly safe. There's no such thing anyway. The world needs people who are awake, who are conscious, and who are living out loud. If not us, then who? Thank you, and namaste. Thank you. Thank you. And once again, this great musical team amaze
team.
us.
We have a name for the band now.
Yeah.
You know how lucky you guys are to have had him for as long as you've had him? I feel so lucky that I got to be here before you bailed. But I won't say the word that he said. At least not right here, right now. Is Dwayne's mic on? He's whining. Check it. Plaid, Paisley.
Here, check. Ooh, there's one here. Hang on.
See, look all the trouble we brought. Isn't that good? We're shaking it up, just like he told us to. Are you ready yet? Yes. And what happened?
Okay, there.
There we go.
All right.
Leave the volume up. Get your hand off. Thank you.
Do you have control issues? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There's all this and so much more. Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? I see the light that's in your eyes. Deep inside your heart it lies. Move those obstacles aside. Grab the reins, enjoy the ride. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There's all this and so much more. Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? I know dreams can come true. Believe in what we say and do. What is paralyzing you? Let it go and start anew. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There's all this and so much more. Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Here is the secret, it's no lie. All that we need we have inside. Move beyond all fear and pride. We'll never know until we try. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? There's all this and so much more. Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Why are you waiting? What are you waiting
Thank you, Carrie.
All right, that was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Carrie. If you're wondering about that guitar riff, you've heard that something like that before. For those that don't know, Chris used to be with a little band called Chicago. Oh, that's it. So, and he's a friend of the center, so it's great to have you back. Great to have you back. And it's time for our offering, which is still my favorite part of the service. So let's go within and know the truth. I know that as I go within and connect with the divine presence that is me, as me, and through me, I am open to new possibilities in my life. I am able to let go of what needs to be released. I am able to embrace what is ready to be reborn within me. As I am able to take a stand in my own consciousness for the power of love, the power of joy, and the power of wisdom. So I celebrate this spiritual community. I know that 2015 brings it great possibilities. A new spiritual leader, new members, new possibilities, And I embrace that opportunity to learn and grow through the process. I release what is ready to be released. I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to support this community financially and with my presence and with my prayers. And I do so. I release this word lovingly into the creative field that we call mind, knowing it is done unto us as we believe, as together we say. And so it is. Yes, we are so blessed. So for those that are interested, Reverend Patrick will be doing a New Year intention setting on New Year's Eve, so you can see him about the details for that. That'll be off-site. And don't forget, next Sunday evening, we're going to lay an ordination on the man, so everybody's welcome for that. It's really, really one of our nicest ceremonies that we do. There'll be lots of ministers here and so forth, so please join us. It's at 7 p.m. next Sunday evening. And let's bring in the kids. Try to give the kids some room because they're not going to be able to go over there. Hi, Soren. I lost one. He's over there with his folks. Yeah, well, you know. Okay. All right. Where's the mic? Okay, Soren. Soren's saying hi to everybody. Hi, Soren. How are you?
Hi.
Okay. Who's going to share? Somebody going to share today? Well, come on up front so everybody can see you. What's your name?
McKaylee.
Okay. What you going to tell us about? What happened today?
You want to tell them about making stars?
Need the cue cards?
Go forth in the new year and let your light shine. We will hand out starlights to you. Use the word on it as inspiration.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, good deal. Just a reminder, Tuesday night the class will be screening the film Defending Your Life with Meryl Streep and Albert Brooks. So join us for that at 7 o'clock, and we'll have a discussion about it afterward. And let's close with a peace song.
Yes. there.